Hello, third graders. Let's turn to page 213. We're going to continue with our review. Your test questions for tomorrow will come from yesterday's and today's practice. So they won't all be on there, but there will be ones that are very similar. So let's get rolling. Here we go. Number 9. A printer prints newsletters for many groups every month. Okay, so that's a business. They're printing all these newsletters, all these little like magazines that go out. Which group uses the greatest number of pieces of paper? Now, take a look at the titles. We've got the group, so these are the 4 different groups. Number of pieces of paper in a newsletter. So it's like the magazine, how long is it? So the Garden Ladies, they have a 5-page newsletter, a 5-page little magazine. Book Lovers Club, they have a 6-page. The Model Train Fans, they use 7 pages for each newsletter. And the Travel Club uses 8 pages for each newsletter. But they also print different numbers of copies. So in this column, you have the number of copies of newsletters printed. So the Garden Ladies print 70 copies. The Book Lovers Club prints 80 copies. The Model Train Fans print 60 copies. And the Travel Club prints 50 copies. Now look, the Travel Club prints the fewest number of copies of the whole newsletter, but they use the most number of pages in each newsletter. So we are going to try to have to figure out how many pages each group uses in total. So really, I'm thinking we're adding to this table. We're going to add another column, and we're going to call it total pages used. Okay, so it's the total number of pages used. And the way we figure this out, if we have 5 pages 70 times, it's 5 times 70 equals the total number of pages used. 6 newsletters times, 6 pages times 80 newsletters equals, right? So we're going to multiply the 2 columns together to get the total number of pages used. And then the question says which group uses the greatest number of pieces of paper or pages, right? So let's get in there and figure this out. We know we can just kind of ignore the 0 and just do 5 times 7, counting by 5s, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 35. But now I have to unignore that 0. So it's 350, right? Now 6 times 80, I'm going to ignore the 0 and just count by 6s 8 times. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, and the spider said 42, 48. 48. I rolled my 6s 8 times and got 48. And now I'm going to unignore the 0 and put that 1 0 back on. Okay, so far we see the Book Lovers Club use the most. Now we're going to count by 7s 6 times. 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42. 42. Okay, so 42, 7 times 6 is 42, but add that 0 back on. So it's 420. 7 times 60 is 420. Now we're going to roll our 8s times 5. But I like doing my 5s better. Is that okay? Can we flip it? We can use that commutative property. Let's do that. Let's count by 5s 8 times. Okay, here we go. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. So 40, but I really have to add another 0 on, right? I could double check with my 8s. 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, with a 40 down here and a 40 up there, right? So it did come out that way. So now, which one is using the greatest number of pieces of paper? Well, the biggest number is 480, so it's the Book Lovers Club. All right. That took a long time. That took like 4 minutes to do that one problem. So let's keep going. Number 10. A store has 30 boxes of melons. Each box holds 4 bags. Each bag holds 2 melons. What is the total number of melons in the store? So I've got to picture this. If I have 30 boxes, each box holds 4 bags, right? If each of these is a bag, and then each bag holds 2 melons. So each box equals 2, 4, 6, 8 melons. But I've got 30 boxes. So drawing a little picture so I could see how many are in one box. So I could make a chart, right? If I can figure one box is 8 melons. Oh boy. Well, I could times it by 10. 10 boxes would be 80 melons, right? And if 10 is 80 melons, 20 boxes would be 160 melons. I'm just adding 80. Yes. And 30 would really be the 80 plus the 160. Or I could even think, well, 16 plus 8 is 24, right? So 30 boxes would be 240. I could also think to myself, well, 30 times 8 equals, 24, and add a 0. So there are 240 melons. I solved it kind of 2 ways to double check. All right, let's take a look at number 11 now. Heather's puppy weighs 23 pounds. Cute little puppy. He has been gaining 3 pounds every month. So adding 3 pounds every month. If this pattern continues, how much will the puppy weigh 5 months from now? This is a great example of using one of those charts. And I'm sorry, I will use 2 different colors of pen, so that makes it a little easier. So if he starts off with, on the first month, he's 23 pounds, right? And he's going to go in 5 months. So 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. So if we've got, the first month is 23 pounds. The second month, he's going to gain 3 pounds. So 23 plus 3, oh, that's 26. The third month, 23 more, 29. Fourth month, 29 plus 3, 32. 32 plus 3 is 35. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think you have to go to the 6th month because the first month was the first month, right? So 35 plus 3 is 38. So how much will the puppy weigh 5 months from now? It's 38 pounds. Oops, 38 pounds. Okay, and just drawing a table or a chart was super helpful for that. All right, let's go to number 12. Tim describes a pattern. He says the rule for the pattern shown in the table is add 3. Is his rule correct? Explain how you know. Well, am I adding 3? What if I added 3 to 4? It's not, nope. That doesn't work. It's not 3. So, is he correct? He is wrong because, B-E-C-A-U-S-E, if I add 3, then 2 packages would have 7 markers. Okay, right? So that's how we know. We tried adding 3 and it just didn't work. We are going to skip number 13. We are going to move to number 14. Find a rule for this table. Now, I see these zeros and I'm going to try to ignore those in my head because I I just like to multiply a little easier and then just know I can add the 0 back on. So 3 tanks holds 240 fish or 24 fish. 4 tanks could hold 320 or 32 and then add a 0 back on, right? So what am I counting by? How am I increasing? 24, if I just want to see the difference between 24 and 32, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. Oh, it's plus 8. Oh, with a 0. So plus 80, right? Does that work 32 to 40? Let's see if adding 8 to 32, does that get me to 40? 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. It does. If I'm counting by 8s, but really 80 because there's this 0 that I'm ignoring in my mind for a moment, and then I'm putting it back on. So the rule is add 80. Add 80. So explain how the table would change if the rule was multiply by 8. If it was multiply by 8 here, is it times 8? 7 times 8, is that 56? I mean, is 7 times 8 560? Nope. But multiply by 8, it would remove the 0 place. I don't know if that's the right way to say that. The 0 place. Like it would remove, so 7 times 8 equals 56, not, yikes, you can't see that, not 560. Does that make sense? So if it was just 7 times 8, that wouldn't work. So really it is 7 times 80. Do you see that? Oh yeah, because if we're adding 8 each time, so we could or multiply by 80. Right? If we're adding 8 each time, then it's really multiplying 80. The number of tanks times 80 gives you the number of fish. That makes sense. Okay. And if it was just multiplied by 8, you would not have the 0 in that number. It would just be 56, or it would just be 48. 6 times 8 is 48. 6 times 8 is not 480. All right, moving on. Number 15. Devin has 80 books to pack in boxes. She packs 20 books in each box. How many boxes does she need? I love it. We know she has 80, and we know she's packing 20 in each. 20, 40, 60, 80. I can count kind of by 2s. 2, 4, 6, 8, and add that 0 back on. So write an equation using the letter n to stand for the unknown factor. So n, so how many groups? We don't know how many groups. N times 20. So how many groups of 20 equals 80? Right? We drew groups of 20 at a time until we got to 80. So how do we know the unknown factor? We need to find out how many groups of 20 we need, or she needs. Okay, so that's what we're trying to figure out. How many groups of 20? We know she's putting them in groups of 20, in boxes of 20. So we need to know how many groups. We are skipping number 16. We are moving to our last page, number 17. Cody saves all his nickels. And an important thing we know about nickels is they are worth 5 cents each, right? Today he is getting them out of his piggy bank and wrapping them to take to the bank. He finds he has 360 nickels. It takes 40 nickels, 40 nickels, to fill each paper wrapper to make a roll. How many wrappers does he need? So first we have to write an equation using n for the unknown number. We know he's going to make groups of 40 nickels, right? He's going to make groups of 40. And we know he has 360 total. So we don't know how many groups of 40 he has, but we know he has 360 total. So n times 40 equals 360. He doesn't know, we don't know how many rolls of coins he will have, but we know he will have 40 coins in each of the rolls. Now explain how you solve the problem and how you know the answer is correct. Well, I know let's see, I'm going to count by fours. Fours up to 36. Let's try that. Ready? Dukes up. Einstein students good as gold. Let me hear your fours roll. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. That's how we roll our fours. 28, 32, 36. I'm stopping at 36 and I have 9 fingers up. So I counted by fours up to 36, which is 9. So, comma, 9 times 40 equals 360, right? So we could do 9 times 4, think 9 times 4 equals 36. So 9 times 40 equals 360. Okay? All right, so many words in these math problems. When we are applying our multiplication knowledge, we can do all sorts of powerful problem solving. All right, last one for today, and tomorrow is your test. Here we go. Ruben is collecting cans for the recycling contest at school. He makes 2 plans to try to collect the most cans. Plan A, collect 20 cans each week for 9 weeks. Plan B, collect 30 cans each week for 7 weeks. Are you already thinking about how we're going to use these numbers? 20 cans for 9 weeks, 30 cans for 7 weeks. Which plan should he choose? So if he does 20 cans for 9 weeks, I'm going to ignore the 0 in my mind and do 2 times 9. So I'll write it out, 20 times 9. And I'm just going to think 2 times 9, well, that is 18. And then add that 0 back on the end because I'm not doing 2 times 9. I'm really doing 20 times 9. I can use my knowledge of tens and how they work to help me with that. Now, 30 cans for 7 weeks, 30 times 7, and I'm going to ignore the 0 for a minute, and I'm going to think 3 times 7. I'm going to actually, in my head, I know how to roll my 7s faster, so I'm going to flip it. 7, 14, 21. So 3 times 7 is the same as 7 times 3, which is 21, but stop ignoring the 0 and put it back, right? All right, so which plan should he choose if he wants to try to collect the most? He should choose Plan B. How do we know? Explain how we made our choice. Well, Plan A collects 20 times 9, which is 180 cans. Plan B collects 30 times 7, which is 210. 210 is more than 180. Even though he's collecting for fewer weeks, he doesn't have to collect as long, but he's collecting more each week. That's why Plan B is better, right? All right, your plan for your success on your test tomorrow. Review these questions we did today and yesterday. The test in Canvas will be a lot like some of those. You may not see all of them, but look those over. Make sure you understand them. Good luck. Practice rolling your numbers, and we'll see you on the flip side.